You can imagine the Piper launch station against the...
Plastic bubbles from a tube. Just squeeze it out and blow it up.
Water wiggle! Turn on the water and see me go!
What if I told you some inventions were so dangerous they had to be completely wiped off the market? We're talking gadgets that exploded, chemicals that crippled, and machines that maimed. Why were they ever approved? And what terrifying risks did they pose? These are the 50 most dangerous inventions that are now banned.
Broken screens could release hazardous toxins like lead and cadmium. Eventually, safer flat-screen televisions replaced cathode ray tube models. Those old televisions look nostalgic now, but remind us of a time when safety wasn't always a priority.
Programming was accomplished by setting switches and connecting wires according to specific instructions, which were first worked out on paper and then carefully carried out and tested.
Back in the 1980s, early computers changed the way people worked and lived. They seemed exciting and futuristic at first, but behind their appeal, they had hidden dangers. These computers contained materials that turned harmful after use. When thrown away, computers became electronic waste filled with toxic chemicals. Lead and other poisons leaked out, damaging the environment and causing serious health problems. Many old computers ended up in poor countries. Workers there got sick from handling these dangerous materials. They suffered breathing problems, nerve damage, and even deadly illnesses like cancer. Children face greater risks because their bodies weren't fully grown. Today, recycling is safer and protects people. And early computers remind us how important it is to handle technology safely. In the 1970s, the medical industry experimented with nuclear-powered pacemakers.
It's meant a lot because since Jennifer's had the pacemaker, there's been a complete change in her. She's grown in size.
Using plutonium-238 as a long-lasting energy source. Unlike traditional battery-operated models, these devices promised lifelong functionality without battery replacements. However, the risks far outweighed the benefits. If the pacemaker was damaged in an accident or during surgery, it could leak radioactive material into the body, leading to cancer and radiation poisoning. Additionally, disposal was a major issue. These devices couldn't simply be discarded due to nuclear contamination risks. By the 1980s, the introduction of safer lithium-based pacemakers made this radioactive experiment obsolete. Today, atomic pacemakers remain a bizarre relic of the past, with strict regulations on handling the few that still exist.
Hello, honey. I'm home.
No, miss! No, don't go, miss! Don't go in there! There's a burglar in! Who is that?
Anyone could mistake Sharp's giant picture tube TV for real life.
Remember those bulky televisions from the 80s sitting proudly in every family room? Those were cathode ray tube televisions. People loved them because they brought entertainment into their homes. But behind the clear picture, they carried hidden dangers. These big televisions used cathode ray tubes, which released small amounts of X-ray radiation. Without proper shielding, this radiation harmed people sitting close to the screen. Cathode ray tube screens were also heavy and unstable, easily tipping over. The Chrysler turbine car was an automotive marvel in the 1970s.
Love the smell of jet fuel in the morning. That's it. Jay, it's amazing the craftsmanship that...
Designed to run on jet fuel, diesel, or even alcohol. Unlike conventional engines, its gas turbine motor had fewer moving parts, reducing maintenance needs while delivering a futuristic hum. However, its excessive heat production was a major drawback. The exhaust temperature was so high that it could melt nearby objects. Additionally, it produced hazardous emissions, posing serious air pollution risks. Another problem was its slow acceleration and poor fuel efficiency, making it impractical for everyday use. Though Chrysler built 50 prototypes, most were later destroyed to prevent technology leaks. While the concept of turbine cars remains fascinating, their environmental and safety concerns ultimately led to their disappearance from the market. While the Chrysler turbine car was a fire hazard on wheels, it wasn't the only invention from the 1970s that posed a serious combustion risk. But what if the danger was lurking inside homes rather than on the road?
It introduces sonar automatic focusing. This camera sends out inaudible sound waves that bounce off the subject and return in a split second.
In the 1980s, Polaroid flash cameras became popular because they captured photos instantly. Families everywhere used them for birthdays and vacations. But these cameras had a dangerous flaw hidden behind their bright flashes. Polaroid cameras used bulbs made from magnesium or aluminum filaments. These bulbs would tend to become extremely hot and would sometimes explode, sending hot glass flying. People often got burned to replace bulbs since the cameras lacked safety covers. Without proper protection, users risked serious injury just by taking pictures. Eventually, safer flash systems replaced these hazardous bulbs. Today, old Polaroid cameras are collector's items that remind us how unsafe photography once was. Now, when snapping a picture safely on your phone, remember how risky capturing special moments used to be. One of the most bizarre inventions of the mid-20th century was the X-ray shoe fitting machine, found in thousands of shoe stores throughout the 1950s and 60s.
Eventually, by the late 50s, these machines were banned for operation here in the U.S.
Marketed as a modern and scientific way to ensure a perfect shoe fit, the device allowed customers, including children, to place their feet inside an unshielded X-ray chamber. The machine would then emit radiation to produce a live skeletal image, letting customers see how well a shoe fit their bones. However, prolonged and repeated exposure to ionizing radiation significantly increased the risk of skin damage, cancer, and genetic mutations. With mounting health concerns and lawsuits, these machines were phased out in the late 1970s, and strict regulations were placed on public radiation exposure. The dangers of unchecked radiation in retail stores raised serious health concerns, but exposure to toxic substances wasn't limited to shoe shopping. What if a common, everyday necessity silently poisoned millions through the air that they breathed?
So this one, I'm going to donate to my buddy Stempy.
And if it survives Stempy, then it's going to survive anybody.
And we're also probably going to get a runaway.
In the 80s, gas-powered remote control cars looked fast and fun. Kids and adults loved racing them outdoors. These little vehicles were popular, but came with scary safety risks. The cars ran on nitro fuel, a dangerous mix of chemicals like methanol and nitromethane. Nitro fuel was highly flammable and easy to spill. Even a small spill could quickly start a fire, causing serious injuries or damage. Refueling these cars was risky because fuel fumes were toxic. Breathing them caused headaches. The engines also gave off harmful gases that polluted the air. Today, safer electric remote control cars have replaced the gas-powered versions. They run without dangerous chemicals or toxic fumes. Gas-powered remote control cars seemed cool and exciting back then, but their dangers far outweighed the thrill. Thankfully, modern remote control cars keep racing fun and safe without risking your health. During the 1970s, asbestos, once considered a miracle material for its heat resistance and durability, was unknowingly exposing people to deadly health risks. Hair dryers manufactured during this period contained asbestos-lined heating elements, which prevented overheating but released microscopic asbestos fibers into the air with each use. These airborne particles, when inhaled, became lodged in the lungs, leading to mesothelioma, asbestosis, and lung cancer, diseases that often took decades to appear. As scientific evidence mounted regarding the severe health consequences of asbestos exposure, regulators and consumer advocacy groups pushed for a ban. By the late 1970s, asbestos-containing hair dryers were recalled and discontinued, replaced by safer ceramic and metal heating elements that did not pose the same deadly risks. Asbestos-laced hair dryers were finally recalled, but consumers still weren't safe from unexpected household dangers. What if a refreshing drink could become a pressurized time bomb waiting to explode in your hand?
It's the only FDA-cleared at-home sun tanning lamp. It's a cheaper and safer alternative than going to the tanning salon. That way you're not exposing yourself to sickness or shared beds.
During the 1980s, sun lamps promised a perfect tan right at home. People loved getting bronze skin without going outside, but those glowing lamps had hidden dangers. Early sun lamps released high levels of ultraviolet radiation. Users often suffered painful burns, skin irritation, and eye injuries. Long-term use increased the risk of skin cancer. Many lamps had no timers, making it easy to overexpose. People also used them without safety glasses, risking blindness or severe eye damage. Regulators eventually banned these harmful lamps, replacing them with safer tanning methods. Today, these devices remind us that beauty treatments once carried serious health risks. Modern options now protect people's health while still offering the look they want. Thermite-based flares were marketed in the 1970s as roadside emergency signals to alert other drivers to a stranded vehicle.
All hail the god thermite! Okay, all right. That's bright.
However, these flares burned at over 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 2,200 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt metal, ignite gasoline spills, and cause devastating fires if mishandled. The thermite mixture, once ignited, could not be extinguished with water, making accidents nearly impossible to control. Additionally, the intense heat posed a severe burn risk if handled incorrectly. Reports of vehicles catching fire due to misplaced flares and concerns over civilian misuse led to their eventual phase-out. Today, LED emergency lights and electronic distress signals have largely replaced thermite-based flares, providing a safer, fire-free alternative for roadside emergencies.
I'm wearing that little red number you picked out for me.
Only Sunbeam has an electric blanket that turns on automatically.
Cold nights meant using electric blankets to stay warm. People loved them for comfort during chilly winters, but early electric blankets had hidden dangers. These blankets often got too hot because of weak wires that easily wore out. Frayed wires caused electric shocks or sudden fires, sometimes while people were asleep. Older blankets had no automatic shutoffs or temperature controls, increasing their risk. Some people even worried about electromagnetic radiation. Although radiation levels were low, users questioned long-term health effects. After several fires and injuries, manufacturers improved blanket designs. Today's electric blankets have safer wiring and auto shut-off features. Old electric blankets remind us it's better to stay safe than risk harm for warmth. Unlike the plastic-tipped versions made for children, adult lawn darts were designed as a serious backyard game.
The mills, I need my keys back. I got to get home.
But with deadly consequences. These oversized darts featured steel tips, making them lethal projectiles capable of puncturing skulls and causing fatal injuries. Originally intended for recreational use, these darts quickly became infamous for gruesome accidents, particularly at parties where alcohol-impaired judgment reigned. Emergency rooms began reporting skull fractures, brain injuries, and even deaths caused by errant throws. The dangers were undeniable. A single misstep could turn a friendly gathering into a tragedy. After multiple fatalities and widespread public outcry, lawn darts were banned outright in most countries by the early 1980s. Today, only modified blunt-ended versions remain on the market.
But the kind that many of us still have in our homes, which is a mercury thermostat. Now these are highly inaccurate, and they also contain mercury, like I just mentioned.
Years ago, controlling your home's temperature meant using mercury thermostats. They were simple devices, trusted in homes everywhere. But what many didn't realize was how dangerous they could become. Inside these thermostats was mercury, a highly toxic metal. If the thermostat broke, mercury spilled out. It released harmful vapors that poisoned people and pets, causing severe health problems. Breathing in these vapors led to nerve damage and other illnesses. Disposal was also risky, as mercury leaked into soil and water, harming the environment. Because of these dangers, mercury thermostats slowly disappeared, replaced by safer digital models. Today, old mercury thermostats remind us that something simple can sometimes hide serious risks. In the 1970s, candy cigarettes were a popular treat, mimicking the appearance of real cigarettes with sugar sticks, bubble gum, or chocolate wrapped in paper. Some even produced a puff of powdered sugar or cornstarch to resemble smoke, making them even more realistic. While seemingly harmless, these candies were criticized for glamorizing smoking and encouraging children to adopt the habit later in life. Studies suggested that kids who played with candy cigarettes were more likely to become smokers as adults, raising major public health concerns. As anti-smoking campaigns gained momentum, many countries and states banned candy cigarettes, while others restricted their sale. This marked a significant step in discouraging tobacco culture and reducing youth exposure to smoking influences. If candy could influence smoking habits, what kind of risk did fireworks containing toxic heavy metals pose? Phones without wires felt futuristic, but hidden risks made those conversations dangerous.
The thing about this GE crystal clear cordless telephone is that it's virtually static free, which is really great because most of us have enough static in our lives.
Cordless phones once made people feel free, allowing them to talk without tangled wires. Everyone wanted one, but there were hidden dangers with these early devices. The first cordless phones gave off strong electromagnetic radiation. Users worried about health effects, reporting headaches and strange symptoms after long calls. Privacy was also poor because weak signals let others listen easily. Battery safety was another big issue. Early cordless phones used nickel-cadmium batteries, which leaked toxic chemicals. This harmed people in the environment when batteries were discarded. Eventually, cordless phones improved with safer batteries and stronger privacy. Early cordless phones remind us convenience once involved serious risks. Modern phones now protect your health and privacy without causing harm. During the 1970s, lead-based paint was a common household product used on walls, furniture, and even children's toys due to its durability and vibrant color.
Once we're done, we take a look at the tip, and we can see that this is red, which means that we have lead.
However, as the paint aged, it would chip, crack, and release toxic lead dust, posing a severe health hazard, especially to children. Young kids, drawn to peeling paint, often ingested lead chips or inhaled dust, leading to neurological damage, developmental delays, learning disabilities, and even organ failure. Adults weren't spared either, with long-term exposure causing high blood pressure, kidney issues, and reproductive harm. As scientific evidence mounted, governments banned lead-based paint in residential buildings and consumer products in 1978. Older homes still pose risks despite the ban, requiring careful removal and remediation.
Sorry, friend, you old-style portables have to go. But look at our new RCA Victor portable radio.
Portable radios were everywhere in the 1980s. People carried them to parks, beaches, and family picnics. It felt good to take your favorite music anywhere. But these radios had serious hidden dangers. Most ran on heavy batteries filled with harmful chemicals. If batteries leaked, toxic substances like lead spilled into the environment. These toxins made people sick if touched or inhaled. Weak wiring inside the radios was another risk, causing frequent shocks or even electrical fires. Some radios even had exposed metal parts that could shock users. They lacked basic safety protections. Newer radios eventually solved these issues with safer materials and better insulation. Today, early portable radios remind us how risky simple entertainment once was. Originally developed as a sedative and treatment for morning sickness, thalidomide was widely prescribed to pregnant women in the 1970s.
It was also difficult to recognize babies affected by the thalidomide disaster as one group of children suffering from the same condition.
Marketed as a safe and effective remedy for nausea, the drug had devastating consequences. It interfered with fetal development, resulting in thousands of babies born with severe limb deformities, missing or shortened arms and legs, and other congenital disabilities. The tragedy unfolded globally, with families left to cope with the irreversible damage caused by a drug that had undergone insufficient testing. As the scale of the disaster became clear, governments swiftly banned thalidomide, triggering major reforms in drug testing and approval regulations. The catastrophe remains one of the most infamous examples of pharmaceutical negligence in modern medical history.
But now, Dynacharge has the quick charge. It recharges batteries twice as fast as ordinary recharges. Buy one now at Toy City and you could win a 1990 Plymouth Turbo Laser.
Early rechargeable batteries became popular in the 1980s because people wanted to save money. But behind their popularity were hidden dangers. These early batteries used toxic materials like nickel-cadmium or lead acid. If handled or thrown away improperly, they could poison the environment and harm people's health. Even worse, batteries often overheated or exploded if charged for too long. Fires and burns were common, putting users at risk. Improper disposal also led to dangerous chemicals contaminating water and soil. Because of these risks, safer battery types gradually replaced the old hazardous versions. Early rechargeable batteries remind us that saving money shouldn't mean risking health. Today, modern batteries provide convenience without these dangers. In the 1970s, polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, were extensively used in electrical transformers, capacitors, and cooling fluids due to their non-flammable and insulating properties. However, these chemicals were later identified as highly toxic and persistent environmental pollutants. PCBs accumulate in the food chain, contaminating soil, water, and wildlife, and posing serious health risks to humans. Exposure was linked to liver damage, immune system suppression, reproductive issues, and an increased risk of cancer. Since PCBs do not break down easily, they continue polluting ecosystems long after use. In response, governments worldwide banned the production of PCBs in the late 1970s, though their safe disposal remains a challenge, requiring costly cleanup efforts to mitigate long-term contamination risks.
People think of soldering, they immediately conjure up thoughts of dangerous fumes, searing irons, and lead exposure. And while these are accurate descriptions of the soldering process,
people building electronics once relied heavily on lead-based solder. It was strong and reliable, perfect for making circuits work. But many didn't see the danger hidden inside. Lead solder contained toxic lead. When melted during soldering, it released dangerous fumes. Workers breathed these fumes daily, causing headaches, tiredness, and even brain damage over time. Their health was at serious risk without even realizing it. And the danger didn't stop there. When electronics broke or got thrown away, the lead leaked into the soil and water. This created environmental pollution, harming animals and people. Today, lead solder is banned in most places. Modern electronics use safer, lead-free alternatives. Lead-soldered electronics are reminders of how important safety standards really are. Innovation shouldn't risk human health or the environment. Thanks to safer methods, we now enjoy electronics without hidden dangers, making life safer for everyone. Once hailed as a miracle pesticide, DDT was widely used in the 1970s to combat agricultural pests and mosquito-borne diseases like malaria.
This newly discovered force has at long last gained the upper hand in our age-old struggle.
However, scientific research soon revealed its catastrophic environmental and health consequences. DDT accumulated in the food chain, poisoning birds, fish, and other wildlife, leading to population declines in species like the bald eagle due to weakened eggshells. In humans, long-term exposure was linked to cancer, liver damage, and reproductive issues. Public outcry, fueled by Rachel Carson's book Silent Spring, led to an extensive review, and in 1972, the U.S. banned DDT. While some countries still use it for disease control, its lasting environmental impact remains a cautionary tale of unchecked chemical use in agriculture. If a pesticide could devastate ecosystems, what about chemicals silently destroying the Earth's protective ozone layer? Fun in your backyard should never end in the emergency room, but this popular game often did.
This isn't child's play, according to the Food and Drug Administration. The game is called lawn darts, and it is being exempted from a proposed ban by the FDA.
Outdoor games in the 1980s were often simple and exciting. Lawn darts became very popular at picnics, barbecues, and family gatherings. They looked like harmless fun, but people soon realized how risky this game was. The darts had heavy metal tips that players threw towards targets on the ground. These sharp darts could easily hit the wrong spot. Many people got seriously injured, especially young children. Because of these frequent accidents, lawn darts became controversial. In 1988, after thousands of injuries and even some deaths, lawn darts were banned in the United States and Canada. It became illegal to sell or even make these dangerous toys. This ban aimed to protect children and families from harm. Today, lawn darts are remembered as one of the most dangerous outdoor games from the 1980s. They show clearly why safety should never be ignored, even when having fun in your own backyard. Aerosol sprays made life easy in the 1980s. People sprayed hair products, deodorants, and cleaners without worry. But these cans had a dangerous secret called chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs. Chlorofluorocarbons damage the Earth's ozone layer, a shield protecting us from harmful ultraviolet rays. When people use aerosol cans, chlorofluorocarbons escape into the air and break down ozone, increasing the risks of skin cancer and environmental harm. In 1987, the Montreal Protocol banned chlorofluorocarbons in aerosol products worldwide. By stopping their use, we began protecting both our health and the environment. Aerosol sprays today are safer, but the chlorofluorocarbons era reminds us how daily products can hide serious risks. The next entry was a symbol of convenience, but carried hidden dangers nobody saw coming. In the 1970s, mercury thermometers were a household staple, commonly used for measuring body temperature.
This allows the mercury to squeeze out and then get stuck up in here, and unless you force it back.
However, their seemingly simple design concealed a serious hazard. The liquid mercury inside was highly toxic. If a thermometer broke, the mercury could evaporate into a dangerous vapor, posing severe health risks when inhaled. Prolonged exposure could lead to neurological damage, kidney failure, and developmental issues in children. Additionally, improper disposal of mercury thermometers led to environmental contamination, affecting water sources and wildlife. Recognizing these dangers, governments worldwide began phasing out mercury thermometers in favor of safer digital and alcohol-based alternatives. By the early 2000s, most countries had implemented strict bans or restrictions, marking the end of an era for this once common medical tool.
The EPA maintains the two pesticides could pose an imminent hazard to human health, and manufacturers have asked for and will receive a public hearing on the matter.
Keeping home free from pests was important to families in the 1980s. One common project used for this job was chlordane. It seemed great at killing termites, ants, and other insects. But behind its power, chlordane had a dangerous secret. In the 1980s, chlordane was sprayed around houses, gardens, and farms. People believed it was safe and effective. Later, scientists discovered that chlordane was actually toxic to humans and animals. Exposure could damage the nervous system, the liver, and even cause cancer. Once applied, it stayed in the soil for decades, posing long-term health risks. Because of these serious dangers, the United States banned chlordane in 1988. Many other countries soon did the same. Even today, soil contaminated by chlordane is a health concern in some places. Chlordane shows how a chemical once trusted by families became a harmful threat. Its ban in the 1980s made homes safer and taught everyone an important lesson about chemicals.
Fluorocarbon gases are composed of three elements, carbon, chlorine, and fluorine.
TCE stands for a chemical, the full name of which is trichloroethylene. What is TCE? It cleans metal parts inside of factories. It's called a degreaser.
Cleaning metal parts was important in factories during the 1980s. Workers often used a chemical called trichloroethylene, or TCE, to remove grease. It worked fast, but people didn't realize how dangerous it really was. Breathing in trichloroethylene caused dizziness, headaches, and even serious illnesses. Long-term exposure damaged workers' livers, kidneys, and nervous systems. Trichloroethylene was also linked to cancer and became a major health concern in workplaces. Eventually, safety standards improved, and factories stopped using trichloroethylene. Safer cleaning methods replaced it, protecting workers from harm. The widespread use of trichloroethylene in the 1980s is now remembered as a dangerous time for industrial safety. It showed clearly why workers must be protected from toxic chemicals. Ephedra. Once a popular ingredient in weight loss pills and energy supplements, was widely used in the 1970s for its stimulant properties.
Ephedra is no longer sold in the United States. It actually has been banned by the FDA.
Derived from the ephedra plant, it contained ephedrine alkaloids, which increased heart rate, metabolism, and fat burning. Marketed as a miracle solution for obesity and athletic performance, it quickly gained traction. However, users began experiencing dangerous side effects, including high blood pressure, heart palpitations, strokes, and even sudden cardiac arrest. Reports of fatalities and life-threatening complications led to intense scrutiny by health authorities. After numerous lawsuits and medical studies confirmed its serious risks, the FDA banned ephedra in 2004, making it one of the few dietary supplements to be completely outlawed due to public health concerns. Every parent tucked their kids safely into bed, never realizing their pajamas could spark tragedy.
These H&M children's pajamas are being recalled over flammability concerns. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says they were sold nationwide online.
Parents in the 1980s dressed kids in comfortable pajamas without worrying about safety. But many pajamas sold back then were dangerously flammable. Soft fabrics caught fire easily and burned very fast. Children suffered serious burns or worse from simple household accidents involving candles or fireplaces. Because of these accidents, strict safety rules appeared to protect kids. Pajamas had to be flame-resistant or very tight-fitting to reduce risks. Today, all children's sleepwear sold follows strict flame-resistant guidelines. The 1980s taught us that clothing isn't safe simply because it's soft or comfortable. It's a reminder of how important safety regulations are to protect kids from hidden dangers. The 1970s were the golden era of polyester fashion, with sleek synthetic suits dominating disco dance floors and office wear. While polyester was cheap, wrinkle-resistant, and stylish, it came with a hidden danger: extreme flammability.
All of today's Dacron polyester at prices that won't cost you a fortune. Now I see romance.
Unlike natural fibers such as cotton or wool, polyester melted upon ignition, fusing to the skin and causing severe third-degree burns. The risk was even higher when exposed to open flames, cigarettes, or kitchen stoves, leading to horrifying injuries. As reports of polyester-related burn accidents surged, consumer safety advocates pushed for stricter fire-resistance standards in clothing production. By the late 1970s, flammability regulations were introduced, and manufacturers began treating fabrics with fire-retardant chemicals, ensuring modern synthetic clothing was far less hazardous.
Lead-based paint. It may have been quite some time since you've heard about it last, but for homes that are 50 years or older, it might be something you want to test for.
Many homes in the 1980s still had walls covered with lead-based paint. It was affordable and long-lasting, so people didn't think twice about using it. But this type of paint had hidden dangers. Lead paint is chipped and peeled easily, creating toxic dust inside homes. Kids who swallowed or breathed this dust developed serious health problems, like brain damage and learning disabilities. Adults also faced health risks, including high blood pressure. By the 1980s, experts understood the risks clearly. Lead-based paint had been banned in new homes since 1978, but older homes still posed dangers. Now, safer paints are standard, making homes healthier. The dangers of lead paint taught everyone the importance of checking household products carefully. During the 1970s, fiberglass insulation became widely used in homes and commercial buildings.
We are using fiberglass bats with a paper face, and this is the vapor barrier, right?
Yes, it is, yep.
Due to its lightweight structure and thermal efficiency. However, early formulations of this insulation were highly flammable, posing a serious fire hazard. If exposed to an open flame or high heat, the insulation would ignite rapidly, fueling fires instead of preventing them. To make matters worse, burning fiberglass released toxic fumes containing formaldehyde and other carcinogens, endangering anyone trapped inside a burning building. As the risks became evident, stricter fire safety regulations led to the phasing out of highly combustible fiberglass insulation. Today, flame-retardant alternatives are the standard, ensuring buildings remain insulated without the deadly fire risks of their 1970s predecessors.
Asbestos insulation was used by numerous industries during the last century, including the construction industry.
Dangerous insulation can be found in buildings built before 1980 on pipes and ducts.
Asbestos was a popular insulation in appliances and homes during the 1980s. It was heat-resistant and strong, so people used it widely without realizing the risks. When asbestos broke down, it released tiny fibers into the air. People inhaled these fibers without knowing, causing lung diseases like mesothelioma and lung cancer. Appliances like toasters, ovens, and hair dryers contained asbestos, posing daily risks. By the late 1980s, the dangers became clear. Asbestos insulation was phased out and banned. Newer, safer insulation took its place, but many older homes still had asbestos hidden inside. Today, asbestos reminds everyone about unseen dangers in everyday products from the past. It's proof that safety standards matter just as much as convenience. For much of the 20th century, leaded gasoline was hailed as a revolutionary fuel additive.
It will be closed automatically, so don't manually push it hard for more gas because that won't be good for your car.
Improving engine performance and reducing knocking in car engines. However, by the 1970s, scientists discovered that lead emissions from vehicle exhaust were poisoning the air with devastating consequences. Neurological studies linked lead exposure to brain damage, lower IQ, and behavioral disorders, particularly in children. Long-term exposure also contributed to cardiovascular disease, kidney damage, and reproductive issues. Despite strong opposition from the oil industry, environmental regulations gradually banned leaded gasoline in most countries by the 1980s. Today, unleaded fuel is the global standard, but the lingering effects of lead pollution from past decades remain a significant public health concern.
This important health warning is for women still using the Dalcon Shield, an IUD birth control device obtained in the early to mid-1970s.
Many women relied on the Dalcon Shield in the 1980s as a convenient form of birth control. It was a plastic device placed inside the womb, promising easy pregnancy prevention. But hidden dangers soon appeared. The device caused serious bacterial infections, leading to severe illness and infertility for thousands of women. Tragically, some even died from complications linked to the Dalcon Shield. Because of these health risks, the device was pulled from the market entirely by 1984. Many lawsuits followed, forcing the company behind it into bankruptcy. This disaster changed the way birth control devices were tested and regulated, improving safety standards for women. The Dalcon Shield remains a painful reminder of how important thorough testing is before a product reaches the market. Its failure showed the terrible cost when safety is overlooked. The shift from steel to lightweight aluminum cans in the 1970s was meant to improve convenience and reduce manufacturing cost.
There we go, let's select the airing apparently to give it an air intake.
However, early aluminum pint cans had a critical flaw. They were prone to spontaneous explosions due to poor structural integrity and excessive internal pressure. Beer and soda manufacturers had miscalculated the amount of carbonation pressure aluminum could handle, leading to instances where cans burst without warning, causing lacerations, eye injuries, and even deep cuts. Supermarket shelves occasionally turned into shrapnel zones as cans popped unexpectedly. After numerous consumer complaints and injuries, beverage companies revised the can thickness and pressure resistance, ensuring that modern aluminum cans remain sturdy enough to contain carbonated beverages safely without the risk of unexpected explosions.
I'm going to talk to you about how ephedra burns fat. That's actually a misnomer. Ephedra doesn't actually burn fat.
In the 1980s, many people wanted quick ways to lose weight. Ephedra-based supplements promised fast results and became hugely popular. They claimed to burn fat and boost energy, so millions bought them. But ephedra had dangerous side effects. Users faced serious risks like rapid heartbeats, strokes, and even death. The ingredient, ephedrine, stresses the heart and nervous system, causing sudden health problems even among healthy people. After many reports of severe injuries, the Food and Drug Administration stepped in. Ephedra was banned in 2004, long after it gained popularity in the 80s. This ban protected people from hidden dangers and weight loss products. Ephedra taught an important lesson. Not everything promising quick results is safe. Today, safer alternatives exist, but ephedra-based supplements remain a cautionary tale about risky diet trends. An apple a day promised health. But what if that fresh crunch hid a chemical secret? Glass fiber brake pads were widely used in the 70s as an alternative to traditional asbestos-based brakes.
Mechanics who are exposed to an asbestos hazard when changing brake shoes may eliminate the hazard by using this special attachment with the asbestos vacuum cleaner.
These microscopic fibers pose serious health risks, as prolonged exposure led to diseases such as asbestosis, lung cancer, and mesothelioma. Mechanics and factory workers were particularly vulnerable due to constant exposure to brake dust. Over time, regulations were introduced to phase out asbestos-containing brake pads in favor of safer materials like ceramic and metallic composites. Many countries banned asbestos in automotive parts, significantly reducing health risks. Modern brake pads are designed with non-toxic materials, ensuring safety and performance without endangering human health. For decades, radium-infused self-luminous watches were prized for their glowing dials, allowing users to read the time in total darkness.
Where many unfortunately died as a result of negligent instructions being provided, which led to ingesting of the material.
These timepieces contained radium-226, a radioactive element that emitted a continuous glow without requiring an external light source. However, the true danger lay in the wearers and the factory workers who painted the dials by hand. To achieve fine brushstrokes, these workers, mostly young women, were instructed to lip point their brushes, unknowingly ingesting radium. Over time, they developed horrific radiation poisoning, including jaw necrosis, anemia, and cancer. The Radium Girl scandal led to public outcry, and by the 1970s, radium watches were phased out and replaced by safer phosphorescent materials. Radium watches showcased how something designed for convenience could have deadly consequences. But what happens when a game meant for fun turns into a lethal backyard weapon?
They claim that apples cause cancer, particularly in children. They had graphics including children in cancer wards.
In the 1980s, apples looked shiny and stayed fresh longer thanks to alar, also known as dimonozide. Farmers sprayed it on apples to prevent bruising and keep them looking good during shipping. People loved these attractive apples, but they didn't know alar posed health dangers. Studies found that it could break down into harmful chemicals linked to cancer. Public fear spread quickly after these findings became public. By 1989, panic forced alar off the market. Apples treated with it vanished from stores. Regulators banned the chemical due to worries it could cause cancer, especially in children. Today, apples are safe to eat without dangerous chemicals like alar. Its story shows how important food safety became in the 1980s. Apples are healthy again, but alar reminds us that looks can sometimes hide real dangers.
What?
Polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, were widely used as flame retardants in furniture, insulation, and electrical equipment, marketed as a fire prevention breakthrough.
We can reduce PCBs in our environment and reduce PCBs in waterways all over.
However, studies soon revealed their high toxicity, linking them to cancer, liver damage, reproductive issues, and immune system disorders. These chemicals didn't just stay in furniture, they leached into the environment, contaminating air, water, and even food supplies. People unknowingly inhaled PCB particles or absorbed them through skin contact, leading to long-term health hazards. With mounting scientific evidence and public outcry, PCBs were banned in 1979 under the U.S. Toxic Substances Control Act. However, their slow decomposition means traces of these dangerous chemicals still linger in older buildings, posing risks even decades after their prohibition.
Why do I use Clorox bleach instead of bargain bleaches? It's better. Better quality. Look, Clorox filters out impurities most bargain bleaches leave in.
Chlorine bleach was common in homes during the 1980s and was often used for cleaning and disinfecting. People liked it because it killed germs quickly, but bleach had dangerous risks. Mixing bleach with other household cleaners like ammonia products produces toxic gases. These fumes cause breathing problems and coughing and could damage the lungs. Exposure irritated skin and eyes, leading to painful burns. Kids were especially vulnerable because even small amounts could cause serious harm. If accidentally mixed with ammonia, bleach creates deadly chloramine gas. Breathing this gas could result in severe lung damage or even death. Today, bleach comes with clear warnings. Its popularity in the 1980s reminds us of the dangers of hiding in common household cleaners. The 1970s saw widespread use of heavy metal fireworks, creating dazzling displays, but with hidden dangers. These fireworks contain toxic metals like lead, titanium, and copper, which enhance colors and released harmful fumes and particles into the air. When inhaled, these pollutants pose serious health risks, including lung damage, neurological issues, and heavy metal poisoning. Additionally, the leftover residue contaminated soil and water sources, harming wildlife and ecosystems. Frequent misfires and accidental explosions also led to burn injuries, property damage, and even fatalities. As environmental and health concerns grew, regulatory bodies imposed strict bans and restrictions on fireworks containing toxic heavy metals, leading to safer alternatives with less harmful chemical compositions.
Is that Queen Elizabeth I died by the use of cosmetics, that her toxic lead makeup not only destroyed her skin, but it poisoned her to death.
Lead-based cosmetics were popular beauty products even into the 1980s. Women used makeup containing lead because it provided long-lasting colors and smooth textures. But these cosmetics hid a dangerous secret. Lead is highly toxic, causing serious health issues. Regular use damaged women's skin and caused serious health problems, including lead poisoning. Symptoms included headaches, fatigue, and even damage to the nervous system. The risk increased the longer people used these cosmetics. Pregnant women faced extra dangers as lead could harm unborn babies. Eventually, lead was banned from makeup because of health concerns. The story of lead-based cosmetics highlights how beauty products once contained serious hidden health threats. Today, cosmetics are safer. Furniture filled with polyurethane foam seemed comfy, but was your sofa quietly putting your health at risk? Asbestos insulation was widely used in homes, schools, and commercial buildings due to its fire-resistant and insulating properties.
Immune system cells try and break down the asbestos fibers and become damaged and die.
However, as structures aged, asbestos fibers became airborne, posing a severe health hazard when inhaled. Prolonged exposure led to devastating lung diseases, including asbestosis, lung cancer, and mesothelioma, a rare but deadly cancer. Construction workers, factory employees, and even homeowners face serious risks without realizing it. Unlike other toxins, asbestos-related illnesses could take decades to appear, making early detection difficult. As medical research confirmed its dangers, governments imposed strict bans and regulations, phasing out its use by the late 1970s. Despite being banned, asbestos still lingers in older buildings, requiring specialized removal to prevent further exposure risks. Hazardous materials in homes were one thing, but how did a prescription drug cause one of the history's biggest medical disasters?
A polymer formed by the reaction of polyol and isocyanate. Its most popular attribute is that it is very lightweight.
During the 1980s, many household items were made from polyvinyl chloride or PVC. Toys, flooring, and even water pipes commonly contained polyvinyl chloride. People liked it because it was cheap and durable. However, polyvinyl chloride products have hidden risks. When heated or burned, polyvinyl chloride releases dangerous toxins into the air. Chemicals from polyvinyl chloride cause breathing problems, headaches, and even long-term health issues. Children who played with toys or touched materials made with polyvinyl chloride faced extra risks. Over time, health concerns led to reduced use of polyvinyl chloride in many products. Safer alternatives replaced it, lowering these risks. Polyvinyl chloride's popularity in the 1980s reminds us to be cautious about materials that might harm our health without clear warnings. Cyclamates were a widely used artificial sweetener found in diet sodas, candies, and processed foods, offering a calorie-free alternative to sugar.
Cyclamates have at one time produced cancer in rats. Their future may still be very much in question.
Initially praised for their ability to help with weight management and diabetes control, cyclamates soon became the center of a major health scare. Studies linked them to bladder cancer in lab rats, raising alarms about their potential carcinogenic effects in humans. As public concern grew, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration banned cyclamates in 1970, though some countries continued to allow their use. The controversy also led to stricter regulations on artificial sweeteners, prompting food manufacturers to seek safer alternatives like aspartame and saccharin. Despite ongoing debates, cyclamates remain banned in the U.S. today.
Formaldehyde is a combustion byproduct and can be found in some cosmetics, textiles, and hair care products.
Formaldehyde was a common chemical used in household products throughout the 1980s. People found it in furniture, flooring, and cleaning products. It was useful because it preserved materials and prevented mold. However, breathing formaldehyde could irritate the eyes, nose, and throat. Long-term exposure caused coughing, asthma, and other respiratory issues. Some studies even linked formaldehyde to certain types of cancer. Because of these dangers, formaldehyde levels in products are now carefully controlled. Today's homes have fewer risks from formaldehyde compared to the 1980s. Looking back, the common use of formaldehyde reminds us how easily harmful chemicals entered everyday life. Now, healthier materials protect families from these unseen threats. During the 1970s, chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, were widely used in aerosol sprays, refrigerants, and foam-blowing agents were praised for their stability and efficiency.
That we see for the first time, chlorine levels are definitely going down, and ozone levels are responding to it.
However, scientists later discovered that these chemicals had a devastating environmental impact. When released into the atmosphere, CFCs break down ozone molecules, creating a gaping hole in the ozone layer, Earth's natural shield against harmful ultraviolet radiation. This led to increased risks of skin cancer, cataracts, and global climate disruptions. The growing environmental crisis sparked worldwide action, leading to the 1987 Montreal Protocol, which phased out CFC production and use. Though now banned in most countries, the damage remains, and efforts to restore the ozone layer continue through global environmental policies and sustainable alternatives.